Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, have you got a Peugeot Expert or possibly I think a Citroen Dispatch is the same? This one's a 2018. I think they're the same from like 2016 on, something like that. So basically what happens is the heaters only blow hot on the passenger or the left hand side of the dash, and the right hand side is cold. Even when the engine's up to temperature, you've got the heat on flat out, it might warm up a little bit but it doesn't get very hot. So basically I'm going to show you what you need to do to rectify that fault. It's really common, and yeah, it's not a bad little job to do. So yeah, let's take a look.
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.
Right then guys, so this is the van. It is a Peugeot Expert, kindly supplied to us by HD Electrical, one of my local electricians. Brilliant guy. Anyone in the South Wales, Abergavenny area, give him a call, he's good as gold. Basically what it is, the heater matrix blocks on these, and the weird thing is you'd think when it blocks that would be it, but what actually happens is because the cores are so fine in them, you get sediment that builds up, and because the inlet and outlet are on the one side of the heater core, basically the coolant takes the easiest route and just goes kind of through the one end of the one end of the heater matrix. So what it does, it actually warms up the one side, but the other side actually stays cold, and then as the air passes through it, obviously it only warms up the air on the one side of the heater box. It's mad, you know, the more you think about it, you think, well, how is that possible, because the air should mix, but it actually does it. So it comes through the one side of the core and goes off over the passenger side, and basically gets nice and warm, but the driver's side, unfortunately the most important side, doesn't get very hot. So yeah, we're basically going to change that. We're going to pull the dash apart, drain a bit of coolant out, change it, and then obviously rebleeding the cooling system. Dead simple job guys. The only thing that's awkward is the clips on the actual heater core. They can be a bit fiddly, but you know, if you buy a MAL one like I did, they come with new clips, and there's nothing wrong with the old ones. So me personally, I'd probably reuse the old ones, and then if you break one, you've got plenty of spares. So yeah, let's take a little look and I'll show you how we do this heater core. Right then, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to release the cap on top of the expansion bottle for the cooling system. Now the main reason for this is just to let some air in there so it runs out through the pipes, so when we take the heater core pipe off, it just lets the coolant run out. Obviously we're only going to lose a little bit, so don't worry. So in the van here now, we're going to remove all this dash. This panel by here just pulls off, so we'll get it out of the way. Now the next thing we're going to do is to remove the glove compartment. So there's 4 screws, one in each corner. This is a T20 Torx, if you wondered. It's not a bad little, I think this is the only Torx screwdriver I needed to do this whole job, so it's not too bad. And there we go. Now there's also one inside the glove box on this model, but not a lot of them don't have this inner screw, but this one's got it. So I'm just going to take that out and some little clip, and then pull the glove box out. Now the next thing we're going to do is on the back here now, there's 3 electrical connectors. You can see there, for, I know, it's like a cigarette lighter, an auxiliary input, and another one. I think it's the airbag switch. So we're going to go ahead and unplug these 3 wires. They can be a bit fiddly, but yeah, just get them unplugged so we can get this glove box out of the way. And there you go, that's the last one there now. There we go, and that's out the way. Right, now we're going to remove the centerpiece. So we're going to pull this cover from around the gear stick, and then it's actually in 2 pieces. So we're going to pop the boot in the middle off the plastic. So there's a couple of clips here you can just push in with your thumb and get them clipped out the way. You have to get this off because with this piece on, you can't actually get the center panel over the gear stick. So we'll take that off, and now we can go ahead and remove this center dash piece. So there's 2 screws which were underneath that panel we just removed. There's one, and then there's one on the other side. There we go. And on this side of the actual dash, there's nothing to remove. So we're going to go over to the driver's side, remove the same panel we removed earlier on the other side. Just pull that off. And then there's 2 screws just behind that panel. There we go. And then we can go ahead and remove that panel that goes over the gear stick. This actually gives you lots of room around the heater box. So again on the driver's side, we got a screw here in the lower panel. So we get that one out the way. And then there's a clip here, you just kind of pop it out. It's hooked on the rug by here, but I'll go around the other side now and get it off a bit easier. So then there's a screw on this side as well, on the passenger side. And there we go. Once we get them 2 screws out, then it's just a matter of pulling it out around. There you go, that's off now. Now this kind of big boot here was in the way, so I decided just to get this out and pull this over the gear stick. It was a bit fiddly, but yeah, when you put it back on, make sure you put this rubber back on first before you put the panel on. It goes on a lot easier than it comes off. So there we go, that's removed. And then we got to remove this little panel underneath. So we're on the passenger side now. This is under there. So we're going to remove these 3 poppers. It's just you pull the centers out and they drop out. And then there's another 2 underneath that hold this vent. This is basically what directs the flow of air onto your feet. So remove that pipe as well. And then there's an inner pipe which clicks onto the side of the heater box. Just give it a pull and a good wiggle and off that pops. And there we go. So you can see the heater core now is clearly on display. This is the heater core here in the middle, and then we obviously got 2 pipes. These are the clips that hold the pipes on. So what we're going to do is get these clips out of the way. There is a bracket we've got to remove first. This one here, there's a Phillips screw in the middle. We'll get that screw out, and then because what we need to do, we need to actually move the pipes out of the way. And this bracket here retains these pipes. So once we get this screw out, we get these pipes out the way, we can go ahead and remove them. There you go. Now this is a bit of a weird design. It's kind of like two half pieces of plastic that clip together, and they've got a lock. Obviously I'm going to put a saucepan here to basically catch any coolant that runs out of that pipe, and then I'm going to get a little screwdriver, shove it into the little gap. You'll see when you look close up, I'll show you when I get it off. It's got like 2 little hooks, one either side, and they kind of click into place. There we go, I got him off there now. So you just get a screwdriver and kind of pry that tooth open. So you can see that little lock there now, look. You can see where it hooks in. You just get a screwdriver and pop it up. And then we can go ahead and remove the pipe. Now obviously this pipe has been on here a while, so it's quite stuck. And there it is. Now what will happen now is this will drain all the coolant from obviously the expansion bottle. But to be honest with you, it's only a couple of litres, so this frying pan that I'm using was more than enough to catch it. And then once we get that, now I'm going to get the O-ring off. There is actually an O-ring. I like to keep these safe just in case something happened and I need one. But the new heater core will come with new O-rings. So now I'm going to get the top one off. Now the top one is a bit more awkward than the bottom one. You can get right on the bottom one really easy. And the top one is a bit awkward, but give it a good little pry in the right places and it'll just pop off. And there we go, that just flung off then. Right, so now we got them both off. Now I can go ahead and remove that pipe. What you might find is you have to move that pipe just to get the top of the clip on the top pipe out. It can be a bit awkward, but once you kind of start doing it, you'll kind of get a feel for how to do it. It's not that difficult. And there we go. So now with these pipes, you kind of have to pull them back and then lift them out of the way like that. You can see what I'm doing with the top one there, but they don't stay out the way, so you kind of got to hold them. Ideally, you need two of you really, one person to hold the two pipes and someone to slide the heater core out, but I obviously did it on my own, so it is doable. It's a little bit awkward. Obviously be gentle with it, you don't want to damage any of them pipes, but you can go ahead and just slide it out, and that is it. Believe it or not, that is out. Now one thing you'll notice is how heavy this thing is. It's because of all that sediment that's built up inside, blocking most of it, that's caused it. And there it is. So there's the old one, and here is the new one. Like I said, it's got a lot lighter. So here's the kit that comes with it. So it comes with some new clips, which I'll be honest, I'm going to reuse the old clips, so I'll keep them as spares, and if I break one, then I've got one as a spare. And two sets of them. Now you will actually see that this is a MAL one. This is the part number of it. This is a MAL. Now this is as close, well, it is OE quality, and it is an OE. Like I say, them clips are identical to the ones that come with. So this is the foam that comes with it. So obviously it doesn't come on, you've got to put it on yourself. So all I'm going to do is copy the old one. There's two new O-rings in the packet as well, so we'll get them out and stick them aside for now. And then yeah, we have to get him out now and just get this foam fitted. It's just like double-sided sticky tape. You just peel it off and then basically copy the old one. It doesn't matter which way round it goes, just basically copy how it's routed. It was in two pieces, one round the end and obviously one that does the circumference of it. And yeah, there it is, all done. I know I skipped that then, but I didn't really need to see me pushing that on. I'm going to grab these O-rings now. I'm just going to put a little bit of rubber grease. Now I use red rubber grease. Obviously don't use anything petroleum based because it can cause these O-rings to swell. The last thing you want is one of these leaking. So I use red rubber grease just to give it a little bit of lube. And then we'll take it back in. So there's the new core, and you can see it's a lot lighter, a lot easier. I'm just going to hold them pipes away now and slot it back into the heater box. Like I said, it's a bit fiddly. Don't force it, just basically keep pulling them pipes away and kind of sliding it into the box. Because of the new foam, it will be a little bit stiff going in there, but it should, with a nice gentle push, it should go in. You'll see here now a little bit of a wiggle and a push. Keep pulling the pipes away, like keep alternating from top to bottom pipe just to kind of pull them away from it so it doesn't catch, and then you should be able to just slide it back into the heater box. Obviously you don't want to bend them pipes too far out the way because you don't want to damage them, but they are quite loose when you get that bracket off, and there is quite a bit of movement. And there it is, that is pushed all the way home, and then I can go ahead now and install the pipes, and it's quite simple really when you actually look at it. So I'm going to give them a wipe off and a bit of a clean. I'm not going mad, I'm just going to get any sort of residue or anything off it, and then stick the new O-ring on. There we go. And then that pipe goes. Now this bottom clip is really simple. I actually clipped this on by hand. I didn't have any trouble at all kind of getting this one on. The top one is quite awkward. You can't get to the one side, so there is a bit of a trick, but like I say, this bottom one is good practice. I'd strongly advise doing this one first just to kind of get the feel for how it clips on. So there you go, that's one side clipped, and I'm just going to kind of turn it a bit so it makes it easier. There you go, and then I can go ahead and clip the other side. So you kind of clip one side at a time, and there we go, that's clipped and that's on and done, and it's literally that simple. Now the top one is the one you will struggle with. I struggled a little bit. Obviously I've skipped a bit of this video, so I didn't show exactly how long it took me. It was probably 4 or 5 times as long as it took me to do the bottom one. But yeah, like you say, you just need to, once you get the kind of clip on there, you kind of, what I would say is clip it on around the back, and then obviously do the front after. You'll see now. So get the O-ring on you, stick the pipe in, and then put the top clip on. And then what I did was I clipped it on the far side that you can't see, because it's so tight to the box you can't spin it, it catches. So it's not like you can click one side on, spin it around and click the other side. You've kind of got to click the one side on blind. Once that's kind of clicked into place, then you can just do the front side, which you can get to quite easily. So I think that's it. I think I clicked the back on, and then I got a pair of pliers in there. There you go. And I just clicked the second side. And there we go. And that was it, all assembled. I did skip a little bit out of that second one because it was quite awkward, but yeah, once you got it on, it's that simple. And then reinstall the bracket that holds the pipes. Again, Phillips screwdriver, just to screw this screw in. And then that's it. Now the next thing to do is fill it with coolant. So I'm just going to take and put some neat. Now my strength is a little bit down on this van, so I'm just going to put some neat antifreeze in. It literally lost about 2 litres, maybe 3 max. So I'm just filled it up to the line. Now obviously you can see I filled up the line. Now down the back of the engine I put a torch here. You can see these 2 pipes that go to the heater box. So by here is a bleed screw. And what I'm going to do is take the bleed screw off. So it's just basically like a valve cap. You take it off, make sure you don't drop it, and then you can see the coolant dropping straight away inside the bottle. And if I go back over now and show you on the top, you'll see a bit of water, and there it comes. So once that water flows out of there, screw the cap back on, and that has now bled the pipes and the heater box. So what we're going to have to do now is top that back up and then start it. But what I've actually done, I've paused the video here because I actually forgot to plug the electrical connectors back in the glove box. So make sure you refit the glove box and plug these 3 plugs in, otherwise you'll put an airbag light on the dash like I did. But don't worry, if you do that or you make that same mistake I did, it's not the end of the world. When you plug it back in and assemble it all, the lights will go off. But yeah, I forgot to do that, and I ended up with a spanner light and an airbag light and a load of other things. So heaters on hot, and obviously you don't have to put them on flat out. I just put them on half speed, and then obviously put the heaters on hot, just to circulate obviously the coolant through the heater core, and then just leave it run, and then leave the cap off. If it needs any air, then it can get it. And that's all I did then, was left it running, and it's running right now. And to be honest with you, as you can see, there's no leaks, everything's nice and dry. I'm just going to clean off any residue on the box, and then we can go ahead while it's running now and completely assemble the dash, and just keep an eye out for any leaks while we're doing it. But to be honest with you, them pipes are pretty straightforward, and once they're clipped on, they just don't leak. So yeah, there we go, all back together. Obviously just put it back together in reverse, and then we can go ahead and obviously run it up to temperature, check it for leaks, and yeah, top the coolant. But that's literally it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped you, and yeah, see you in the next video.
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.